Talk like we're in church. Say, old neighbor. Tell them with the help of God and through this preacher, we're going to talk about the trauma began.
You will be shocked by what Pastor Tim Rogers just revealed. After years of silence and growing rumors, the truth is finally out. And it is explosive. For the first time, Pastor Rogers is speaking publicly about Ledria's drinking habit. What he shared has left the entire church community in disbelief. This goes beyond personal issues. It is a story of betrayal, hidden pain, and a truth too heavy to ignore. Pastor Tim Rogers has always avoided the spotlight outside the church, but recent events forced him to speak. For years, rumors followed the name Ledria, a key figure close to the pastor, all linked to what many believed was a secret drinking problem. Some brushed it off as gossip, but others in the church said they had seen enough to know the truth. Yet Pastor Rogers kept quiet. Until now. Today's video takes you deep inside the events that led to Pastor Rogers' emotional reaction. We will look into who Ledria really is, what their bond has been over the years, and the full story behind the drinking rumors that never seem to fade. Most importantly, we will break down Pastor Rogers' recent words, what he said, what he avoided, and why his message has shaken the faith community so deeply. Watch until the end because this is not just a summary of headlines. This is the full truth, supported by eyewitness stories, interviews, and public response. And what you hear might forever change how you view both Pastor Rogers and Ledria. To understand the weight of Pastor Rogers' reaction, we need to go back to where it all started. Ledria Bennett made her name in gospel circles as a passionate speaker, leading women's ministry events with energy and honesty. She was not famous nationally, but in Arkansas and nearby states, she had a strong voice in smaller churches, women's gatherings, and prayer services. Her personal stories of redemption and struggle moved many. But what most people never knew was just how close she was to Pastor Tim Rogers. Not only was she in his congregation, but she was also part of his private circle. Many within the church have confirmed that Ledria worked behind the scenes on Pastor Rogers' ministry tours. Some even said she offered counseling support for women's outreach projects led by the church. This was no distant connection. Their bond covered years of ministry, private talks, and even family moments. But then, things changed. Around 2021, people in the church began to notice something was off with Ledria. She missed events. She arrived late to services she was supposed to help lead. A person close to the situation, who requested to stay anonymous, said Ledria often looked emotional, unstable, or sick in spaces where she used to be confident. At first, many believed she was just burned out. Ministry work is hard. Carrying your own burdens while helping others is not easy. But then came the rumors. At first, it was quiet talk. Then came public speculation. Was Ledria drinking? And that is where the story gets even darker. Because once the gossip started, evidence followed. There were pictures, social media posts. A few photos began spreading online showing Ledria at private parties. She appeared to be holding wine glasses or looking drunk. Some of the images were quickly removed, but not before church members had shared them in group chats. Still, Pastor Tim Rogers said nothing. No sermons, no quiet prayers in her name, just silence. And people began asking why. Why would someone so loyal to his mission stay silent while someone close to him appeared to be falling apart? As the quiet rumors turned into open online talk, Ledria's image began to crack. What started as concern among a few became major gossip across gospel Facebook groups and forums in Arkansas. Everyone asked the same question. What is happening with Ledria? Several churchgoers claimed they saw her on days when she seemed distant, angry, or under the influence. One deacon told a private prayer group that he smelled alcohol more than once when she showed up late to Bible study. Another member said that during a women's retreat, Ledria was removed after shouting during a session. But the photos caused the biggest reaction. One image showed her at a birthday party, holding what looked like a glass of wine, leaning on someone, eyes unfocused. Another clip, briefly on TikTok before being deleted, showed her slurring words at a backyard event. While none of this was illegal, it painted a picture that clashed with her role as a spiritual leader in the church. The problem was not just about alcohol, it was the image. In many Black churches, spiritual leaders are held to extremely high standards. Even the look of wrongdoing can cause outrage. The breaking point came during a Sunday service in early 2024. Pastor Rogers gave a sermon titled, "Carrying the Weight You Do Not Talk About." Halfway through, his mood changed. He got quiet, emotional. Then he said, "Sometimes the people you pray for are drowning in silence, and when they cannot breathe, they might drag you down with them, unless you let go." The room went silent. Some wept. Others stared ahead. Everyone knew who he meant. Church blogs and social media exploded. Was he talking about Ledria? Was he cutting her off? Was she all right? But what came next shocked everyone. A week later, Pastor Rogers posted a live video on his official page. He was alone. No background music, no fancy setup, just him and the camera. He finally addressed it. This was not a press release or a church meeting. It was a raw, live moment on Facebook. The video, just under 12 minutes long, has now been viewed more than 75,000 times. His tone was calm, but heavy. He did not seem rehearsed. His eyes stayed on the camera. His first words were simple. "You all have been asking where I stand. Let me be clear. I stand with truth and grace, but that does not mean I stand with everything people do." Right away, Pastor Rogers made it clear. This was not going to be a smear campaign. No insults, no finger-pointing. But as he kept speaking, his words became deeper, more emotional, and to some, more confusing. He said he had supported many people through hard times, addictions, abuse, depression, broken families. He reminded viewers that the church is not a place for perfect people, but a place for healing. But even with his soft words, his meaning was clear. He had tried to help Ledria, but had to step away. When someone's pain starts spilling into your peace, you have to choose. Do I save them, or do I save myself? And that was the moment everything changed. He never said her name, but he did not have to. The meaning was clear. The internet caught on quickly. His words, his voice, even the long pause before the next sentence made it obvious. I love them. I still pray for them. But love is not the same as enabling. That line went viral. People quoted it on Twitter. It was turned into memes on TikTok. It was used in gospel videos. For many, it was a clear message. For others, it felt like rejection. This was someone he mentored, someone who was part of his inner circle. Some believed he had walked away. But here's what makes the moment more powerful. It's not just what he said. It's what he didn't say. He never used the word alcohol. He never called it addiction. He never mentioned counseling or intervention. He did not say, I am no longer connected to her. He also did not say, I will keep standing by her. Instead, he balanced truth with privacy. Was he protecting her or protecting his reputation? That became the new debate. Some viewers praised him for having boundaries and wisdom. Others accused him of backing away when things got hard. He never spoke of the issue again. But the reaction was far from over. Within hours of the video, gospel YouTubers, TikTok preachers, and Facebook groups started dissecting every sentence. Some celebrated his honesty. One person tweeted, "This is real leadership, boundaries, wisdom, grace. Pastor Tim is handling it right." Others were furious. A woman in a gospel Facebook group wrote, "He was supposed to cover her. He left when it got tough." That one comment got over 800 likes and started hundreds of replies. Some said Pastor Tim just wanted to avoid mess. Others said he was showing biblical tough love. Then the church itself began to change. Attendance dropped a little in the weeks after the video. Some young women, inspired by Ledria's work, were upset. One choir member reportedly left the church, saying, "If she could not count on him, what chance do the rest of us have?" But not everyone was angry. Many older members supported Pastor Rogers. They said, "You don't know how much he helped her before." Some even claimed this was not the first time Ledria had emotional struggles, and that the pastor had covered for her in the past. Rumors kept spreading. Old messages between Ledria and other church leaders started appearing online. One message suggested she felt controlled and silenced. Another post, allegedly from her private Facebook, read, "Just because I'm seen as a vessel doesn't mean I don't bleed. But if I show weakness, people call me broken, not human." Was it a cry for help? A shot at Pastor Rogers? Or just a midnight post? No one could tell, but people were talking. Ledria herself said nothing. No videos, no sermons, no posts. Her social media went dark. She had been known for her inspiring words online. Now she was silent, and that silence only made people talk more. This story had moved beyond drinking rumors. Now the question was bigger. What happens when the person who was meant to cover you stops carrying your burden? Some pastors began doing live streams to discuss leadership, protection, and the line between support and codependency. The internet had turned a private moment into a debate across churches. And not just in that church. Other churches started whispering. Female ministers who looked up to Ledria began to question if they were safe to show their struggles. If she was pushed aside, what chance did they have? This took a deep turn, not just for Ledria, but for all those in the church who show their flaws. And after Pastor Rogers gave his message, people were watching closely. Would Ledria reply? Would she tell her side? Would she reveal something that Pastor Rogers left out? Instead, she disappeared. Not in real life, but on the internet and emotionally. No sermons, no lives, no tweets. Her once bright social media presence went silent, and that silence was louder than any words she could have said. People waited. Her name kept trending in small church circles. Her old videos popped up again. Fans were split. Some asked her to speak. Others said silence was wise. Behind the scenes, something was happening. People close to Ledria started dropping clues. One gospel blogger said a family member told them Ledria felt hurt by Pastor Rogers' video. She felt betrayed. "He was like family," the source said. She never thought he would speak publicly like that. Some believed that pain led to her silence. Others believed it was part of a plan. They said she might be getting counseling, healing in private. One of her ministry partners posted, "Sometimes God puts you in the cave not to punish you, but to prepare you." Was the cave rehab? A break from ministry? A legal battle? No one knew, but her silence raised more questions. And this part was especially moving. In one of her past sermons, just 8 months earlier, she said, "Sometimes the wine you use to forget your pain drowns out the voice of God." Looking back, people wondered, was that about her? Was that a warning? If so, why didn't anyone see it before things went public? Another clip went viral where she shouted, "I am not perfect, but I am chosen. I'm tired of being judged while others hide their bottles." That line, "hide their bottles," hit hard. For some, it confirmed the rumors. For others, it was a clapback at church people who judge harshly but hide their own issues. Her words had been warning signs all along. Even in silence, her voice still echoed. She had been building something, a ministry, a brand, a movement. People followed her for her honesty, her raw stories, her flaws. But now, her future is unclear. No one knows if she will return, rebrand, or step away forever. Some say she is healing. Others believe a big comeback is coming. A few even hinted at a tell-all book or interview. But until she speaks, we wait. And this is where the story shifts again. It becomes about more than Ledria and Pastor Tim. It becomes about all of us. When leaders fall, who lifts them? In churches, pastors and spiritual leaders are seen as unbreakable. They guide people. They carry weight. So when one of them falls, it shakes everyone. People want answers. But instead of lifting the fallen, many turn to blame. That is the part missing from most of the posts and reaction videos. The grace to restore. Anyone can call out a mistake, but not everyone asks how to help. We hear, "We are our brother's keeper." But when leaders fall, we often forget that. Pastor Tim's message was soft, but deep. Restoration begins when you choose not to destroy, but to lift. It is easy to walk away from someone broken. It is harder to stand with them through healing. What does that look like? In Ledria's case, maybe it means listening. Maybe walking with her quietly. Maybe giving her room to heal without judgment. This story makes us look at the church itself. Are we building safe places for leaders to be vulnerable? Do we support them when things fall apart? Or do we wait for them to fall so we can point fingers? Pastor Rogers might be quiet now, but his silence may show that true leadership means walking through fire with those you lead. It is about creating places where healing is possible. That is the part people forget. But it is the part that matters most. If the church can learn to show grace, maybe Ledria will return. Maybe she will be stronger. Maybe her fall will lead to victory. So, where do we go from here? Will Ledria speak and return to the pulpit? Will Pastor Rogers keep leading without backlash? Or will both of them rise from this, proving that leadership is not just about rising high, but handling the fall with strength? Only time will tell. In the end, Ledria's story reminds us that even the strongest in faith struggle. It shows us how we treat the fallen matters just as much as what they did. It is not just about what happened, it is about what we do next. Tell me what you think in the comments. Did Pastor Tim Rogers do the right thing? Does Ledria deserve another chance? Be sure to like and subscribe for updates on this story and more drama in the world of faith and celebrity. You will not want to miss what happens next.